Hi guys, so today I've got a pretty exciting video, or exciting for me anyway. Revolution have launched yesterday their Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation. I was able to order mine yesterday and it got delivered today, so I'm going to be putting this on my face and seeing what we think. And they also launched the super size Conceal and Define, which this is the original size, and as you can see there's quite a big size difference. In the original you get 4 grams of product, and in the new one you get 13 grams, so it's a big difference. And you can even see from the packaging, like this one has got like the I don't know if you can see like the gap at the bottom, the glass sort of tube around it, and you can see there's space around it, whereas this one the product goes all the way down to the bottom, full tube, quite a decent sized doe foot as well for under the eyes. So I picked this up in C1. Not quite ready. I needed to open it, but not quite ready to use that one today, so I'm going to use my standard one, which I got not that long ago, but as you can see it's just a little bit small. The original doe foot is just a little bit smaller, but so I will be using that. Obviously that's one of my favourites, so I know that I'm going to like that. But going back to the foundation, the bottle is glass. You can hear that. Really heavy, looks really luxurious, like the frosted glass with the rose gold and black writing on it. You open it up, it's got nice big doe foot applicator, so not really got to mess up your hands or anything like that. Just put it straight onto your face, unless you want to mix this with something else, like with an illuminator, or you need to mix 2 different shades together. So obviously I'm going to be testing this out. I got it in F2, which if I swatch this just here, as you can see, that's a pretty good shade for me. And I'll just swatch concealer next to that. So as you can see, it's just the foundation is just a little bit more yellow toned, but C1 is brightening enough under the eyes that you can really see a difference. You don't look too dark under the eyes, so I'll just wipe that off so I don't get it everywhere, because I've got to go out to work after I've filmed this. So as you can see, I've got my brows on, just about. Got my brows on. I've primed with the Revolution Pro Mattifying Primer, and I'm just going to go ahead and put some on my face and blend it out with my damp beauty blender and see how it goes. So let's just move my hair out of the way. Okay. I'm not actually sure how much to use of this, so I'll do that on this side. It smells quite nice actually. It doesn't smell too over fragrant. And I'm just going to take the round end and let's blend this out. Wow, that coverage is really good. You can see why it says full coverage. So that was just sort of 3 swipes. Watch my eyebrows. 3 swipes and that's practically done half of my face. And it's a pretty matte formula. Don't know if that's because of the primer that I've got underneath, but it's definitely matte. There's no shine there, but as you can see, obviously it's just even out all my skin tone, blended it down my neck, so there's no, as you can see, like I've got a nice little friend come to visit up here, but just got like a bit of pinkness on my cheeks, but on this side just flawless, like no imperfections or anything. So let's go ahead and put it on the rest of my face. Really blend it out so well. Just blend it around my nose. The good thing, because I didn't know what it'd be like for drying down, because obviously the concealer does dry down pretty fast, but I'm used to working with it now, so I don't worry about it drying down. But I did wonder if the foundation would, but it doesn't seem to be. Like, obviously you can see I drew a line on my forehead and that's just blended out perfectly. That was so easy. Like I say, it's a nice matte finish. I don't know if that's a mix of the foundation and the primer, but they've mixed together so well. But then they are the same brand, even though it is Revolution Pro, the primer. But let's put some concealer on, brighten my under eyes. And like I say, the concealer has gone on top, like no lifting of the foundation. The base actually looks flawless. I actually feel like I could, if you had dry skin, you wouldn't really need to set this. I will, obviously, because otherwise in about an hour it'll look like I've just poured some oil on my face. But I'm just going to take my Lace Revolution setting powder, the end of my beauty blender, just the damp end. Just going to load it up on my brush. Just set that under my eyes just to see how powders layer up on top of it as well. And I just like to a little bit on my nose, just slightly above my smile lines where I tend to get oily. And then I've noticed lately, just here in between my brows and onto the start of my forehead, I've been getting quite oily. So I'm just gonna pat some loose powder onto there. Then I'm going to take my Imagination palette and mix these two, which I've really been liking, to set the rest of my face on a nice big fluffy brush. Just mix those two together. Blend it all in, wiping any excess powder away. Like I say, if you was dry skin or dry combination, you wouldn't really need to set, maybe just under the eyes to stop any creasing, but it looks like filter finish. I mean, even into that jaw, it's just blended like down my neck perfectly. It is now, if you can see that, 5:10. Like I said, it's quite late. I've been at work all day, but it's now 5:10. I'll do a check-in hopefully around 10 o'clock tonight, let you know how it's sat. I know it's not a long wear test, it's sort of 5 hours, but What I will also do is I will put exactly as you've seen me do today: foundation, concealer, powder, and all my other powder products. I will do the same tomorrow, and I will do it as if I'm going to work, which I work 9 to 5 tomorrow. So I will do all that, go to work, and then I will just insert sort of my thoughts at the end of the day, let you know how it's worn, if sort of I've got any sort of oils coming through, if I've noticed that it wears better. And what I will also do at some point in the future, if I do really like this, which up to now it's looking promising, is I will test it against my favourite drugstore foundation, which is the Maybelline Superstay, which, as you know, is super matte, long wearing, full coverage. So what I will do, if we like this and it wears well over the next 2 days, I will then possibly do a wear test. So I will go off camera, put all the rest of my powder products on, and then I will be back in a minute. Okay, so I'm back, and as you can see, I've just not put too much on, but I've gone with a bit of bronzer, some blusher and some highlight. I'm wearing Sleek liquid lipstick in Shabby Chic on my lips, and as you can see, everything has gone on perfectly, no lifting, even where I've sort of rubbed the bronzer at the highlight on my nose, there's no lifting. It looks super flawless. I'm really liking the way this is looking so far. Like I say, I will check in a little bit later to let you know how it's wearing, and then tomorrow I'll do exactly the same and do like a nice long workday wear test, which obviously a lot of people that are going to be buying this are going to be everyone that sort of everyday work person that needs to know that their makeup is going to last them. So I will do that for you tomorrow. But as well, something I want to share with you, while I was in Superdrug, which is where I got my foundation and concealer from, they are both available on the Revolution site and the Superdrug site. But Superdrug were offering me, because I'm a beauty card holder, next day delivery. So obviously I wanted to get this and try it out, so that's why I went through them. But when I went to pick up my parcel, I couldn't not pick up some more eyeshadows, which don't know where I'm going to put them because I'm kind of running out of space. But these are the Reloaded palettes, and these are the new ones that came out about a month ago now. I know obviously a lot of people have probably already tried them. I've had a couple of the Reloaded palettes, and for £4 you get 15 shades, and they are fantastic value for money. I've had the Neutrals too, which is quite like a pinky red sort of tones running through, but I picked up the Velvet Rose, Neutrals 3, and Basic Mattes, which as you can see is a full matte palette. I think there was Visionary, which I didn't pick up. That's quite a purple toned one, and I don't really tend to go for purples. I'm more go for oranges, reds, neutral colours. Sometimes I like a pop colour, but it's not normally purple that I go for. But I'm just going to swatch a few of these just so we can see obviously what they're like. If I can get into them. There we go. So this is the Basic Mattes. Let's take these three and then swatch the black, because they look so good. For mattes, these are actually swatching really well. I mean, look at those swatches. Mattes don't always come across swatched that well. Shimmers and glitters normally swatch really well, but for £4, I'm not mad at those. There is a little bit of fallout, a little bit of dustiness, but Again, £4, I'm not too bothered. And then we've got the Neutrals 3, which I've got the Neutrals, which was obviously the original Reloaded, Naturals versus Neutrals, I think it's called, the original one, Neutrals 2, and then Neutrals 3, which I thought would make an amazing sort of autumn palette, which can't wait to create some looks with this, obviously with sort of some of these burgundies. Let's just watch some of the shimmers. Look at that shimmer. I mean, you can see the reflection on that. Oh, that one's a little bit shimmery, so let's swatch three out of this palette. Look how they are swatching. They look absolutely amazing. And that shimmer, that golden amber colour, I mean, you can see just how it's catching the light. It looks fantastic. And then the last palette, we'll just swatch a couple out of this, which is the Velvet Rose, which is quite a nice neutrals, with just a few pops of sort of deeper warm colours and some lovely glitters. Sort of shimmer colours you can see with those. This one looks gorgeous. Let's swatch that one. Well, that one feels quite chunky, more glittery than sort of a metallic. Let's go with this sort of burgundy brown, and let's swatch one of the cool tones, which I don't always go cool tone because, as like I said, I like warm tones, but it's always worth knowing. I'm running out of space. Let's swatch here. Look at those. I mean, that metallic, like I say, is more of a glitter, and you can see that it's sort of picked up on sort of my arm hairs. Like, you can see where the glitter's sort of rested on there. But those shades from all three of those palettes, absolutely fantastic. And at the minute, Superdrug have got 3 for 2 on all of their cosmetics. So for all of these, that should have only been £12, which for 3 eyeshadow palettes is not bad. I ended up actually only paying £8. So definitely worth a trip down to Superdrug to pick up some bargains at the minute. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take you a bit closer to the light and we will just have a quick close-up of my makeup. And like I say, I will check back in a few hours just to see how I'm wearing. Like I say, I normally get quite oily here to start with, so that will be sort of the telltale sign. Okay, so I've just moved a bit closer to the window, to the light. Can we see just how flawless that is looking? Obviously, I've got a few creases under my eyes, but I don't think that's anything to do with the concealer. That's probably one to do with how early I was up this morning, and obviously my age. That doesn't help. But as you can see, my skin, one, shows how pale I am in this light, but two, just how flawless this foundation is making it look. Even just about covered all of that one. Like I say, if I wanted to build it a bit more, I could have gone with a more skin toned concealer just to cover it, but everything is looking flawless at the minute. So I will check in about 4 or 5 hours. Like I say, this was on just after 5, so I will see you probably just before 10, because then by then I will definitely want this makeup off my face. I've had makeup on since about 8 o'clock this morning, so I will be ready to take it off. So I will see you in YouTube time in about 2 seconds, in my time in a few hours. Hi guys, welcome back. So as you can see, I've still looking pretty much the same apart from the dark circles under my eyes. It is now 1 minute past 10, so I have had this on for close to 5 hours. Obviously my lipstick's come off, but that's because I've had a drink and sort of rubbed my lips together by the look of it, because I've got it everywhere. But let's move into the light a little bit better. There we go. As you can see, so I've got a bit of oils coming through on my nose, but normally I would be quite oily right here by now, but I'm not getting anything. You can see my pores, but it's not really breaking up around my pores. My chin's looking a bit oily, but like I say, I've got combination skin, so that's about normal for me. But I would be quite happy with this, because by this point I would be able to sort of powder down if I was at work, if I was on my lunch break or anything. Cat's just attacking me. So obviously I'd be able to sort of fix this. Like I say, you can see where I've sort of rubbed my nose a little bit, and where I've taken that off, but I'm looking a little bit oily on my nose. But like I say, that would just be fixed by powdering down, I would think, because the rest of my skin, obviously this is where I've got my highlighter, but the rest of my skin is still looking pretty matte and flawless. So overall, I'm really liking this foundation. Like I said, tomorrow I'm going to be wearing it again, just to get a proper feel for it, to what it would be like throughout the normal day, because as I said, I went and picked this up straight from the shop today when I was told that it was ready, so it's not been a full wear test, but on first impressions, definitely, especially with this primer, definitely stays matte. I mean, I'm stood right under the light now, and it's very, you can only just about see where I'm getting a little bit shiny, but not too oily. Obviously on my nose, like I say, must have wiped off as like I've got changed or something, because it's cold, so I've got my pyjamas on. But I am looking pretty flawless still. So like I said, I will do the same as I've done today, and for checking with you, I will put that in here. Hey guys, so it's the next morning. I've got my full face of makeup on. Gone for obviously a different lip product, but everything else is the same. I've set my face. I have put a little bit of the white Conceal and Define with the C1 just to brighten up my under eyes, because it's been a long week and I was looking a bit tired. So let's see how this holds up. I haven't put any highlighter on my nose just to see like how the oils come through on that, because obviously they were coming through quite a bit last night. But obviously I wanted to make sure that I gave this a fair test. I will touch it up at dinner if it needs it, which I do anyway with my foundation, so obviously that's what my normal routine. So I will check back with you tonight to see how this all holds up. Hey guys, so it's just time for my final check-in. It is now, time is out, it's now 4:45, and as you can see, looking a little bit oily. Let's bring you in a bit closer. Obviously I didn't put any highlight on my nose, but my hay fever has been quite bad today, which strange, it's middle of September nearly, but obviously I've rubbed my nose a couple of times, it was quite itchy, but as you can see it's just broken down a little bit around my nose and sort of around sort of the crease of my nose, but nothing too noticeable unless you get up close. All of this is still looking really matte and sort of finished. My highlighter's still glowing, and actually my forehead, which normally around here is where I get most oily, that's actually looking pretty good. I've got no transfer or anything, so under my eyes from my mascara. So I will definitely try this again, maybe with a different primer, just sort of around my nose to see if that helps my pores. But I'm pretty happy with the way this has looked. Obviously for £9, can't go wrong. It's just a little bit more expensive than than a standard drugstore, because you only get, I believe it's 23 mils instead of the full 30, but that doesn't really bother me because I have quite a few different foundations anyway, so I always sort of pick and choose. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this is looking, and I didn't powder down at all today, which makes a change because normally I have to powder down around my nose and on my forehead sort of halfway through the day, but haven't done anything like that today, and I've had this on since 8 o'clock this morning, so that's like 8-9 hours nearly, which I would say is pretty good, because obviously it doesn't say that it's 12-hour or anything like that. It doesn't claim to be that, it just claims to be full coverage, and I would say I haven't lost any of the coverage. It's even covered up this little friend a bit better. It's lasted all day at work. Like I say, my hay fever's been playing up, so I think that's probably why it hasn't lasted as well on my nose where it's rubbed. But yeah, it's just separated a little bit. But I will definitely be reusing this foundation, and like I say, I think this is has to be one of my favourites. Yeah, I'm really loving how this is looking still. So if you like this, remember to give it a thumbs up, and you're now going to hop back in time to me last night. But if you like this, if you want to see more first impressions from me, remember to subscribe and turn on the notifications. Give it a thumbs up if you like this, if you're looking forward to trying this foundation. And comment down below if you want to see me compare it to my other favourite drugstore, which is obviously the Maybelline Superstay, and I will get that video sorted. Head over to my Instagram. I've got a vote on there at the minute to pick which of the Reloaded palettes that I use for a tutorial next week. So go over there, follow me, join in on the story, on the poll, and I will see you again next time. Bye!